Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen, Anderson, Bates, Bell, Berryhill, Block, Canella, De Leon, Fuller, Gaines, Galgiani, Glazer, Hall, Hancock, Hernandez, Hertzberg, Hill, Hueso, Huff, Jackson, Lada, Leno, Leyva, Liu, McGuire, Mendoza, Mitchell, Monning, Morlock, Morrell, Wynn, Nilsson, Pan, Pavley, Roth, Runner, Stone, Vidak, Wachowski, Wolk.
We are absent a quorum. If members can please make their way to the floor as soon as possible so we can start our floor session. Quorum. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen, Anderson, Bates, Bell, Berryhill, Block, Canella, De Leon, Fuller, Gaines, Galgiani, Glazer, Hall, Hancock, Hernandez, Hertzberg, Hill, Hueso, Huff, Jackson, Lada, Leno, Leyva, Liu, McGuire, Mendoza, Mitchell, Monning, Morlock, Morrell, Wynn, Nilsson, Pan, Pavley, Roth, Runner, Stone, Vidak, Wachowski, Wolk.
Thank you, members. A quorum is present. Would the members and our guests beyond the rail and in the gallery please rise? We will be led in prayer this morning by our chaplain and charming lass, Sister Michelle Gorman, after which please remain standing. We will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag by Senator Leno.
Let us recall that we are always in God's presence. Recently, Pope Francis said that politics is a lofty vocation and one of the highest forms of charity, inasmuch as it seeks the common good. So, God of all love and consolation, continue to grace us with insight and wisdom to promote the continual evolution of life-giving relationships. May miracles of love and generosity continue to flow from our desire to further peace and justice in our world. May we continue to trust that beneath all appearances is meaning, direction, and promise, as you kindle in us the fire of your own unfolding dreams. We ask this in your name. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Members, moving to privileges of the floor, we have several. Senator Bell, not at his desk. Senator Glazer. Senator Stone.
For purposes of introduction, Mr. President.
Without objection.
Thank you. Members of the Senate, I would like to recognize a very important person that has come up from Southern California, one of my employees, Megan Locke, who is one of my most dedicated and capable field representative in my Murrieta office. Megan is in the back. There she is right there. Megan has been helping me in my Capitol office up here this week, and she took time away from her son Keegan to be here to help, and her assistance is very much appreciated. Just this week, I received at least 3 emails from people in my district asking me to thank her for the work that she's done to help them, and I want to take this time to thank her for her service to the people of Riverside County in the state of California. Members, if you please recognize my wonderful employee, Megan Locke.
Senator Glazer, are you ready? Senator Glazer? Senator Glazer at Senator DeLeon, or Senator Monning's desk.
Mr. President and members, I rise in my inaugural remarks on this great Senate floor to honor a very distinguished educator. And it's a story that actually began 40 years ago. As you may recall, 2 weeks ago today, I was sworn in to this great body, and I had the opportunity to talk about the people who were very important in my life. And high on that list were the many public school teachers that affected me and gave me guidance and direction. And I talked about Mrs. Verlinde, and I talked about Ms. Martine and Mr. Davidson, and Mr. Lakoya, and Mr. Fong, and Mr. Coombs. And thanks to the good work of my small but very dedicated staff, Steve Harmon in particular, he was able to reach out to the Sacramento Unified School District to see if these teachers from 40 years ago could be found. And lo and behold, they found someone who was so important to me in my life, and he is here today. His name is Jim Coombs, and he's joined by his wife, Marilyn. And let me tell you a little bit about Jim. He was a 1957 graduate of McClatchy High. I was the class of 75. He was student body president and sports editor. He went on to get a degree from Stanford University and a teaching credential from our great Cal State University, San Luis Obispo. And he was a teacher of history and journalism and a great counselor. In fact, he was the organizer of the Humanities Magnet that we have at McClatchy today. And Mr. Coombs, and it's hard to call him Jim, Mr. Coombs made a huge difference in my life. His gentle guidance and suggestions, as he did for me, he did for so many other students that he worked with at McClatchy during those 38 years. In fact, our Chief Sergeant of Arms was telling me this morning how excited she was as a graduate of McClatchy because she remembered very clearly the interactions that she had with Mr. Coombs and the guidance that he gave personally to her and how it affected her life. And I know there's so many thousands of these young people that will remember the great work of Mr. Coombs. But by honoring him today, I know that we're also recognizing those public school teachers and counselors who are helping so many millions of our Californians every day. They are so important in the lives and the development of our young people. So members, I ask you to join me in thanking and in honoring a very distinguished educator, Mr. Jim Coombs.
Welcome, Mr. Coombs, to the California State Senate. Appreciate having you here. Members, still under privileges of the floor, Senator Bell. Senator Bell at Senator Monning's desk.
Mr. President, you know, we all depend on our staff, but we also especially depend on having interns in our office. And we've had some visitors today from San Jose, the interns in my district office. I'd like to welcome them to the Senate floor. These young future leaders will probably, in the future, be sitting in our chairs someday, we hope, as future leaders in our community. So I'd like to introduce Zarina Yip, Mark Shepard, Arun Ramakrishna, Catherine LaRoe, and Athena Crosby, as well as my Sacramento interns, Zach Keller and Julia Agos. So welcome all the interns. We love you.
Welcome to Senator Bell's guests. Under privilege of the floor, members, Senator Hall.
Yes, Mr. President, Senators, I request to move under motions and resolutions, file item 63, AB 650 from the consent calendar and move it to the inactive file.
Without objection.
Thank you. Senator Pence, the guests are here now.
Members, under privilege of the floor, we have now Senator Pan.
Thank you,
Senator
Mr.
De Leon's
President.
office.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I would like to ask you to join me in welcoming Dan Spector, General Chairman, and Lou Blanis, President of the Del Paso Country Club. This year, Del Paso Country Club will be hosting the 2015 Senior Open Golf Championship. This is the largest sporting event Sacramento has ever hosted. The Senior Open will attract more than 125,000 people traveling from 35 states, bringing in more than $20 million in local revenue. Del Paso Country Club will donate a portion of the proceeds to First Tee of Greater Sacramento, an organization that originated in Sacramento and teaches life and leadership to youth through golf. I would like to thank Dan and Lou for being here and to present them with a resolution honoring the USGA 2015 Senior Open Golf Championship. Senators, please give them a warm Senate welcome. Thank you.
Welcome to Senator Pan's guests. Members will move to messages from the governor. Messages from the governor will be deemed read. Messages from the assembly will be deemed read. Reports of committee will be deemed read and amendments adopted. Under motions and resolutions, members, without objection, the Senate journals for June 8th through June 11th, 2015 will be approved as corrected by the minute clerk. Members, we're moving to consideration of the daily file. Second reading. Secretary, please read.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 65, Assembly Bill 217, 432, 494, 1036, 87, 548.
Second reading will be deemed read. Members, moving to governor's appointments will pass temporarily. Senate third reading, members, file item 31. Senator Vidak. Secretary, please read.
Senate Resolution 31 by Senator Vidak, relative to Child Vision Awareness Month.
Senator Vidak.
Mr. President and members, I rise today to present Senate Resolution 31, which designates the month of June 2015 as Child Vision Awareness Month. A simple pair of glasses can change a child's life and help them greatly succeed in school. Unfortunately, many people do not have access to eye care and continue to live with vision issues. Last year, I worked with Vision Service Plan to bring 2 mobile van clinics named Mobile Eyes to Kern and Fresno County areas. Through this effort, 52 people received full eye exams and a free pair of glasses if necessary. Because of the strong demand for this service and lack of space in the mobile clinic, another 80 people received vouchers for eye exams and glasses. Most of these individuals had never seen an eye doctor before, nor the ability to purchase glasses for their children or themselves. This is an issue that affects children up and down the state, and it's important we do everything we can to ensure we correct children with vision problems at a young age. I ask for your aye vote.
Members, debate or discussion on this item? Senator Bates? Sir Micah. On this item, would you like to speak? Oh, okay. Members, seeing no debate or discussion, Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. Anderson. I. Bates. I. Bell. I. Berryhill. I. Block. I. Cannella. De Leon. I. Fuller. I. Gaines. I. Galgiani. I. Glazer. I. Hall. I. Hancock. Hernandez. I. Hancock. I. Hertzberg. I. Hill. I. Wisso. I. Huff. I. Jackson. Lada. I. Leno. I. Leva. I. Liu. I. McGuire. I. Mendoza. I. Mitchell. I. Monning. I. Morlock. I. Morrell. I. Wynn. I. Nielsen. I. Pan. Pavley. I. Roth. I. Runner. I. Stone. I. Vidak. I. Wachowski. I. Wolk. Wolk, aye.
Call the absent members.
Allen. I. Cannella. Jackson. Pan. Pan, aye. Mr. President.
Ayes 38, no 0. The resolution is adopted. Moving to file item 32, Senator Morrell. Pass on file. Members are moving to file item 36, Senator Stone. Secretary, please read.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 67 by Senator Stone relative to National Mental Health Awareness Month.
Senator Stone.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, SCR 67 designates May 2015 as Mental Health Awareness Month. Mental illness is a serious issue in our country, and this resolution puts us all on the record to fight the negative stereotypes that exist when it comes to people who suffer every day. If someone has cancer, we have compassion. If someone has heart disease, we have empathy. If someone has a mental illness, we often shrug it off. Mental illness is just that, an illness. We need to treat the mentally ill with compassion and empathy. A recent study found that 69% of adults experiencing psychological distress would hide mental health problems from coworkers and classmates, and 38% would even hide their problems from their friends and their family. Perhaps more troubling is that 21% said that they would delay getting treatment out of fear that others would find out. While this resolution designates May as Mental Health Awareness Month, I'm asking all of us here and families across our state to reach out to those who suffer with a disease that can't be seen but is sorely felt by their families and friends. We shouldn't think of mental illness only in May. This disease is felt by families and friends every month, every day of every year. I ask you to support SCR 67 to send a message that people with mental illness need treatment. They deserve treatment, and they will only get better with the support of their friends, family, and loved ones. With that, Mr. President, I urge an aye vote.
Members, debate or discussion on this item? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, is there objection to using a unanimous roll call? Seeing none, ayes 38, no 0. The resolution is adopted. Moving to file items 37, Senator Fuller. Pass on file. File item 38, Senator Fuller. Pass on file. File item 39, Senator Fuller. Pass on file. File item 40, Senator Fuller. Pass on file. Give me a second. File item 41, Senator De Leon. Senator De Leon, file item 41. Secretary, please read.
Senate Resolution 34 by Senator De Leon relative to the standing rules of the Senate for the 2015-16 regular session.
Senator De Leon.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I rise to ask for your support for Senate Resolution number 34, which increases the membership of the GO Governmental Organization Committee from 11 to 13 members. In a bipartisan manner, Senators Runner as well as Glazer have been appointed to these slots. With that, I thank you very much, and I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Members, debate or discussion on this item? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, is there objection to using our unanimous roll call? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 38, no 0, the resolution is adopted. Senator Allen, for what
Yes,
purpose do you rise?
Mr. President, I just wanted to, if I could, move back to motions and resolutions.
Without objection.
Just to request that AJR 11 be removed from the consent calendar.
Desk will note.
Thank you.
Members, moving on to Assembly third reading. File item 45. Senator Walk. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 49 by Assemblymember Weber relative to the California Senior Bill of Rights.
Senator Walk.
Thank you, Mr. President. ACR 49 is the Senior Bill of Rights. It declares the legislature's intent to uphold and protect the dignity and independence of older Americans. As the population of older Californians increases, the importance of the programs and services will be of even greater importance. This has received bipartisan support, no opposition. I ask for your aye vote.
Members, debate or discussion on this item? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, is there objection to utilizing our unanimous roll call? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 38, ayes 37, no 0. The resolution is adopted. Moving to file item 46, Senator Hall. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 10 by Assemblymember Rodriguez relative to emergency medical services.
Senator Hall.
Thank you, Mr. President and Senators. ACR 10 recognizes May 17th through May 23rd as Emergency Medical Services Week in California. Emergency Medical Services Week is a national campaign that was started by the American College of Emergency Physicians in 1974 to honor the dedicated emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, law enforcement officers, doctors, nurses, dispatchers, educators, and administrators who provide life-saving care to others in their time of need. California is the home to over 80,000 career and volunteer emergency medical service personnel who treat approximately 2 million Californians each year. Emergency Medical Services Week is a time to celebrate the heroism, dedication, and accomplishments of emergency medical service providers. I respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Members, debate or discussion on this item? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, is there any objection to using our unanimous roll call? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 38, noes, ayes 37, noes 0. The resolution is adopted. Members, we're going to move to governor's appointments. That's file item 25. File item 25, members. Senator De Leon.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, colleagues, Charles Chuck Supple is the Commissioner for the Board of Parole Hearings, juvenile parole more specifically. He was heard in Rules Committee on May 27th and passed on a 5-0 vote. There was no opposition. He has served on similar positions from 2005 to 2010. He became a parole agent working with the juvenile population. His combined experiences makes him well suited for this role as Commissioner. With that, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Members, debate or discussion on this item? Senator Hertzberg.
There is indeed discussion on this item, Mr. Pro Tem. I apologize, I did not consult with you in advance, but you know, I grew up with Chuck Supple. He grew up right down the street. I went to the prom with his sister. And let me just tell you, I know a lot of stuff about this gentleman. He appears to be an honorable gentleman, but I've got a lot of great stories, but the statute of limitations has run on all of them, so I will be supporting this today.
Okay.
Members, additional debate or discussion on this item? Senator Anderson.
I plan to support his nomination today, but I have a grave concern. You know, we've gone back and we've gone to this asking for reports. We want to quantitatively look at whether we're successful with juveniles and whether we're failing our juveniles. And I don't think it's unreasonable to ask for reports to find out what is successful and what isn't successful. And this is the last time I'll be voting for anybody on this board if they don't produce reports letting us know that they're tracking success. Because I think as a legislature, we have an obligation to our communities to prove oversight over our corrections to ensure that these kids are getting the best possible care and their futures aren't limited because of bureaucratic messes. So I will be supporting today, but I just want to put them on notice. I expect them to do their jobs, and I expect them to report back where they're successful and where they fail so that we may help them to become successful.
Thank you, Senator Anderson. Members, additional debate or discussion on this item? Seeing none, Senator De Leon, would you like to close?
Thank you much, Mr. President. And I want to thank my colleague from East San Diego very much for stretching on this one. So with that, Mr. President, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Bates. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Block. Aye. Cannella. De Leon. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Galgiani. Aye. Glazer. Aye. Hall. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Hertzberg. Aye. Hill. Aye. Hueso. Aye. Huff. Aye. Jackson. Lada. Aye. Leno. Aye. Leva. Aye. Liu. Aye. McGuire. Aye. Mendoza. Aye. Mitchell. Aye. Monning. Aye. Morlock. Aye. Morrell. Aye. Wynn. Aye. Nielsen. Aye. Pan. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Roth. Aye. Runner. Aye. Stone. Aye. Vidak. Aye. Wachowski. Aye. Wolk. Aye.
Call the absent members.
Bates. Cannella. Jackson.
Ayes 37, no 0. The appointment is confirmed. Members, file item 27. Senator De Leon.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We have appointments to the California Arts Council. We have Christopher Coppola, who's being reappointed. We have Kathleen Gallegos, a new appointment. Also, not showing up on our screen, we have Jaime Gai, or Jamie Gali, who's a new appointment. Norma Lindo, as well as Rosalind Wyman, who's being reappointed. Again, all members of the California Arts Council. Respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Members, debate or discussion on this item? Seeing and hearing none, Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Bates. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Block. Aye. Cannella. De Leon. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Galgiani. Aye. Glazer. Aye. Hall. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Hertzberg. Aye. Hill. Aye. Hueso. Huff. Aye. Jackson. Lada. Aye. Leno. Aye. Leva. Aye. Liu. Aye. McGuire. Aye. Mendoza. Mitchell. Aye. Monning. Aye. Morlock. Aye. Morrell. Aye. Wynn. Aye. Nielsen. Aye. Pan. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Roth. Aye. Runner. Aye. Stone. Aye. Vidak. Aye. Wachowski. Wolk. Aye.
Call the absent members.
Hueso, aye. Bates. Cannella. Jackson. Mendoza. Aye. Wachowski. Aye.
Ayes 37, no 0. The appointments are confirmed. Members, we are now we're returning to motions and resolutions. For adjourned memories, Senator Hancock.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and members. Members, I rise today to adjourn in memory, along with Senator Pavley and Senator Allen, of Dr. Gregory Richard Taylor, known as Taylor to his many friends and students, and known to many of us as the husband of our dear friend and strong environmental advocate, Elizabeth Martin. Elizabeth heads up the Sierra Fund, and the two of them have been a great partnership in all the work that they did and the joy they brought to the music they made together and to the issues they cared about. Taylor was born, he was known to his friends as Taylor, in March 1954 in San Diego, but he was raised in an interesting place called Hungry Horse, Montana. He earned a PhD in geophysics and an MS in astronomy from the University of Washington, a BS in physics from Montana State University, and in the 80s he worked in the oil patch as a senior oil field engineer in the EIC Hostile Environment Logging Depot, Rocky Mountains. He spent a year in Colorado as a scientist in the climate modeling section, Climate and Global Dynamics Division at the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Boulder. Taylor was a popular professor in the Geology and Environmental Sciences Department at CSU Chico for 28 years, teaching astronomy, pollution, environmental science, and other geophysics classes. He was well known in Northern California as an outstanding Irish drum player and founding member of the Pub Scouts, helping to anchor the sessions of music at Duffy's for many, many years in Chico. Every Sunday, he played music with friends of all skill levels, hosting these sessions with his wife, Izzy, at their home in Chico or in the Holbrook Hotel in Grass Valley. His joy in making music, his intelligence, his sense of humor, integrity, work ethic, and loyal friendship will be deeply missed by his many, many friends around the world. He's survived by his parents, Richard and Angela Taylor, his little sisters, Deborah, Nancy, Kim, and Jenny, his 2 children and their spouses, his 2 stepchildren, Jake and Yara Prasner, many nieces and nephews, and his wife, Izzy Martin, who is a dear friend of so many of us here in the Capitol. We will miss his music, we will miss his spirit, we will miss his intelligence and his advocacy, and I ask that we adjourn in his memory.
Thank you, Senator Hancock. Senator Allen on this item.
I wanted to rise and join Senator Hancock in adjourning in memory of Dr. Taylor, who was an incredibly kind and generous man. A popular professor at Chico State, CSU Chico, he dedicated his life to teaching others and was an outstanding and inspiring musician, as you heard. He also encouraged everyone to join in the music making, and I've heard some stories. Shared his time, talent, intellect, and enthusiasm for geophysics, astronomy, and Celtic music, which he loved. And we just heard about Fridays at Duffy's, which will never be the same without Dr. Taylor playing his baw drum. Many of us in the legislature and indeed throughout the state also benefited from Dr. Taylor's steadfast support for his beloved wife, Izzy Martin, as throughout the years she led and continues to lead efforts to protect California's rivers from pollution. So Dr. Taylor's integrity and work ethic, his passion for maintaining rigor in the environmental sciences, his supportive and encouraging nature, and his sense of humor will be sorely missed. And I'm happy to join in adjourning his memory.
Thank you, Senator Allen. Senator Morlock on this item.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today I rise to adjourn in the memory of Mr. Paul Stewart Patterson, father and stepfather of 7, grandfather of 16, and great-grandfather of 6. And want to remember his wife, Diane Di Patterson, at this time of their loss. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Please bring their names forward so they can be properly memorialized. And please send their families our deepest condolences on behalf of the Senate. Members, there are any additional adjourned memories? Senator De Leon? There's no other business, Senator De Leon. The desk is clear.
Thank you much, Mr. President, colleagues. I hope you have a wonderful next few days back in your districts with your constituents. A productive weekend. We will reconvene on the Senate floor Monday at 2 o'clock On Monday, we will have a budget vote come Monday, again, June the 15th. And then again, hope you have a very productive weekend with your constituents as we continue moving forward and making progress on our budget. So with that, thank you very much and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Members, the Senate will be in recess until 3:30, at which time the adjournment motion will be made. We will reconvene Monday at 2 p.m.